it's Tara.
It's Jen.
And we are here with another episodes of Girlfriends Talk Marketing, and we are joined with Ashley Corrado. She is the founder of PR by AC, and today we're going to really take a little bit of a deep dive into discussing authenticity in a small brand. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. And kind of to just jump right in, when you are a business and you are either in startup mode, or if you're a legacy brand and trying to adapt to all of the changes that's going on to kind of stay relevant, what should you be thinking about when you're identifying with a brand and kind of going through some sort of refresh?
Sure. I think the most important thing, and I think you guys will agree, is your target market, right? You can never forget your customer base,
right?
Because that's where all of your information should come from. You know, we live in a world now where consumers are bombarded with messaging, bombarded with messaging, bombarded with brands, and they can smell BS a mile away.
Yeah.
So if you're not true to your customer and your target market, and you're not hitting it where they need to be hit, you're going to miss everything. Your branding's worthless.
That's a good way to summarize it. No, but
to be frank, I mean, that's how to be authentic, is to be real with who you are and what you deliver to your target. I think that's the best way to live authentically as a brand.
And to know your target, understand who they are and what's going to appeal to them.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to do research. Research is your biggest ally. It's available out there. Research on your target, the trends they're into, and research on your competition. Just be aware of everything that is affecting the market.
Yeah. So when you say research, I'm going to take us in just a little bit of a different direction.
Sure.
When you work with a small business that doesn't have a huge budget, doesn't have a lot of time, what are the top research tips that you would give them?
So I always, when I'm starting with a business that has never really thought about branding before, I always ask them two questions. Number one, give me 3 brands you love. Number 2, give me 3 brands you hate.
Okay.
And I think that's telling.
A good one, yeah.
I think it's really telling to learn from the business owner what they're gravitated towards and what turns them off.
Okay.
And then we try to incorporate that into their target market.
Okay.
So, and then we take the deep dive. And so define who's your ideal customer. Yep. Who do you want to go to your website? What do you want them to do when they're on your website, etc.
Yeah. That's a good question. What do you want them to do?
Exactly.
Call you, of course, or buy directly from the website.
Yeah, or, I mean, this is taking like a derailment down buyer's journey, is like really having an ideal, like once you've identified your ideal customer, understanding the activities that they're taking. Yep. How long is your sales cycle? Are they in education mode? Do you need to provide, top of mind content for education, or is it a turnkey purchase where if they have a shirt design that you like, and then they can just go to your website and purchase it? So I think thinking about all of those things too can really go into your messaging, your brand, and design. And
people shouldn't shy away from historical data too.
Okay.
The data that they have or haven't collected in the past, based on their past sales, campaigns that worked, campaigns that didn't work. Okay. Those are also really, really telling. I love looking at campaigns that failed. That's where the story lies, right? Where did you lose your customer?
Where did you miss out? Exactly.
And that's where, where you missed out, where your shortcomings are. That's where you put your efforts in. Or if you find out that that's not where you want to go authentically, or that's not going to make any money for you,
right?
Nix it.
Oh, that's a good question. You're not going to make any money.
Yeah, well, that's what we're in the name of the game for business. Is like, hello, we need to make money.
So you have a background in design.
Mm-hmm.
And branding, we know design is tied very much into it. I think most people, when they think brand, they think about design first. But what do you do? How do you approach that project, particularly if you're not necessarily a creative design-oriented person?
So I have a very touchy-feely approach, which is odd to some people, but I always ask my clients, how do you want the customers to feel after they experience your brand? Digitally, via mail, via flyer, physical product, like how do you want the customers to feel, right? And so much of the feeling and the psychology behind all that, if you build that, again, you're telling a story.
Right.
You know, if you start with a feeling, you can then build a story based on, you know, the feelings and the colors and the emotions you want to evoke. And again, the last thing that you want to evoke is a sale or a call or, you some
engagement in my service, book an appointment.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, think about that. Think about it as it's more than, you know, you don't have to have a master's in graphic design to be a designer. You really don't.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you have to remember that this is your brand. These are your customers. You're in business for a reason. You know your target market better than anyone, whether you think you do or you don't. There's a reason why people are referring to you. There's a reason why people keep coming back. And there's a reason why people are dropping off.
Right.
So again, look at all of those components.
Right.
So some challenges that, you know, small business owners can come up with when they're going through a refresh or, you know, as a startup, like deciding what direction their messaging and their branding and identifying who those target customers are. So can you point out some kind of obvious things that you hear all the time so that, you know, if folks that are tuning in are kind of having the same situation or going through those same conversations or discussions, that they can kind of, you know, we can help them get to the end a little bit faster.
I think a lot of businesses struggle with finding their voice. Okay. So and that, I think, specifically comes down to the content portion of the equation. Mm-hmm. You know, we can get to colors and a logo and an identity that we think is great, but how do we keep that consistent, those feelings consistent in our messaging? Right. I think that's a struggle for everyone in every stage of business, specifically when you're just starting out, for sure. But to be consistent in your messaging at all time is definitely something that all businesses need to focus on and just sort of keep in check. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, who knows, as long as, again, from the data that you're hopefully collecting, if not,
somehow, some way,
if not, call me. From, you know, whatever data you're collecting or not collecting, you can then again tell whatever another story. So, and the other thing that I just want to throw out there is that you can always rebrand. Yeah, you can always change. It's not the end of the world. I mean, yes, we live in where things live on the internet forever, but not really. You can always delete a post. You can always delete a campaign. You can always fix it, edit it.
Better to do something.
Right. Do something. Do it from the heart. Get it all out there. And if it fails miserably, it fails miserably. Learn from it. Yeah. Do better tomorrow.
Okay. You know? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we have seen kind of this evolution of experience, taking ownership. You know, there's research that's been out there that if if a major brand has a huge hiccup, apologize for it, own that mistake, and authentically say, I'm really sorry, I am human, you know, we do make mistakes, but we will 100% do everything that we can to try not to have that happen. So I think just ownership and authenticity, you know, really makes a difference nowadays, because again, the BS meter is always on and we can sense right through it. So it's better to just own up to, you know, what happened and go forward. So,
and why not run your business
the way
authentically, from a space, you know, a space that feels right. You know, it sometimes takes a little while to get there, and what feels right might not always make the most money right away, but eventually the money will follow. Exactly. If you're doing it right, because you're serving the right people from the right place.
That's a good point. Serving the right people.
Yeah, and it all goes back to knowing your target. Maybe your target's been wrong all along.
Right.
Maybe you thought you were only positioning yourself to high-end clientele, and then you found out, you know, the regular Joe, they're the ones paying your bills.
Sure.
They're the ones who are following you on Instagram, and they're the ones engaging with your business. Then they're where you need to put your marketing dollars.
Yep. So, Ashley, what have you been working on now?
Yeah, so at PR by AC, we're working on branding audits for websites. We're offering a special right now, only $100 for a very comprehensive website audit. And a passion project that I'm working on is via a nonprofit based out of Winthrop, Mass. We're called the Boston Local Co-op. And we've got a great storefront here in Winthrop Center called The Hive. and it's a lovely spot. I encourage everyone to check us out on Instagram first, see how adorable and charming we are, fall in love, and then come on down to 19 Somerset, straight in with her mass, and take a peek.
Thank you so much for joining. Super helpful information. And thank you for tuning in. And we will see you next time.
All right.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.